This is lesson 223, area of parallelograms and trapezoids. So it wants us to find the area of the shapes below. We do not currently have any sort of formula for a trapezoid. That's what this shape is right here, but we could kind of chop it up into shapes that we do know the area of. So I'm noticing that maybe we have two triangles and this rectangle here. So this triangle right here, the base is 3 and the height is 5. So the area of that is 3 times 5 divided by 2. And 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So that's the area of that one triangle. The area of this triangle, okay, this whole thing was 14. We've already taken up 3 of it. And then this piece is 5. So if we subtract 8 from 14, we're going to have 6 left. So this base is 6. And this triangle has the same height as the other triangle. Okay, that's got a height of 5. So this area is 5 times 6 divided by 2, which is 15. Okay, and then the area of this square, it is a square because it's 5 times 5. Right, 5 and then height of 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. So adding up all the areas, 15 plus 25 plus 7.5. Let's type this into the calculator to see what we get. This is going to be 47.5. And this is meters squared. Okay. Moving on to this shape. Okay, this is a parallelogram here. Looks like we could do this triangle. Maybe we could do another triangle here, and then the square. So same thing that we just did. Right. This triangle is 4 and 6. 4 for the base, 6 for the height. So 4 times 6 divided by 2 is going to be 12. So that's the area for that rectangle, or I'm sorry, triangle. For this triangle, it looks like this is 9, this whole thing, and this was 5. Oh, it already shows us that is 4. So we've got a base of 4 and then a height. Looks like the height over there is 6. That's the same as here, and a height of 6. So here, 4 times 6 divided by 2, also 12. Okay, those triangles are the same. And then this square here is a 6. Oh, it's not a square, it's a rectangle because one side is 6 and one side is 5. So let's do that in a different color. So 6 times 5, I'm not dividing by 2 because it's a rectangle, that's going to be 30, okay? So adding all those up, 12 plus 30 plus another 12 is going to get us 54. And that is, I think these are inches. That's what that double hash means, okay? So parallelograms, Kanisha thinks that a rectangle and a parallelogram have the same area, okay? So these two shapes, this rectangle, this parallelogram, they have the same base. They both have a 20-foot base and then the same height, okay? It looks a little bit different on a parallelogram, but remember, base and height make a 90-degree angle, right? Or we call that perpendicular. So same base, same height. If the area of a rectangle is base times height, maybe the area of this parallelogram could be the same, right? If we did what we did before where we were splitting it into a rectangle and 2 triangles, if we took this triangle right here and we simply moved it to be over here, okay? I'm gonna move this. If we simply moved that triangle and flipped it upside down and moved it over here, okay? So then I'm gonna cross that out, pretend we don't have that. What shape do we have here? We have a rectangle with a base of 20 and a height of 8, exactly what we have over here. So really, a parallelogram, if we kind of cut it and move it around but don't change the area, it's the same as a rectangle, okay? So the area formula for a rectangle, or for a parallelogram, is base times height, just like the rectangle. All right, so we are going to find the areas of these parallelograms. First of all, let's write down the area of a parallelogram. It is the base times the height, just like a rectangle. All right, so then we can just do some quick calculations. The base is 9, the height is 4, so 9 times 4 is 36 kilometers squared. Here, the base is 7 and the height is 3 because it makes a right angle with the base. So 7 times 3 is going to be 21. And then I believe these are inches. Again, if I got that wrong, I'm sorry. Here, our base is 20 and our height is 5 because it makes a right angle with the base. Okay, so 20 times 5 is going to be 100 millimeters squared. And then here, base times height, the area would simply be base height. And then whatever units squared. Okay, so we have another shape called the trapezoid. Okay, let's use what we know about how to find the area of a parallelogram and tracing paper to determine the area of a trapezoid. Here's what we could try doing. I am going to turn this trapezoid into 2 triangles. Okay, so we have this pink triangle here, and then this green triangle here. We know that the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Right, so the pink triangle this is base 2. So that's going to be base 2 times this height divided by 2. And then the green triangle, the base is base 1. The height for this triangle is also the same height for the pink triangle, so times the height divided by 2. And because those 2 triangles added up together made our trapezoid, that could be our formula. And I'm noticing that these both have denominators of 2, and they're both multiplied by the height. So I'm going to simplify this formula a little bit for us here. So I'm going to take this height that we both have and bring it out. And I'm going to multiply both the base, let's change the order here, the base 1 and then plus the base 2. Okay, because they were both multiplied by the height, all I'm doing is making that a distribution problem where you'd still multiply both of them by the height. And they're both divided by 2, so I'm just going to divide this entire fraction, this entire phrase by 2. Okay, and this is the formula for a trapezoid. Height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. So let's write that down, area of a trapezoid formula. The height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. Or if you prefer to write it 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. Okay, these are the same thing because when you multiply by 1/2, that is the same as dividing by 2. All right, so now that we have our formulas, let's find some areas of these shapes. This is a triangle, so this is going to be the base times the height divided by 2. So 16 times 9 divided by 2, 72 centimeters squared. We have a parallelogram here, which is simply the base times the height. So here's the base. Now, we have to decide whether 18 is the height or 14 is the height. We know that the height has to be perpendicular or make a right angle with the base, so our height's 14. So 26 times 14 divided by 2 is going to be 182 meters squared. We have a square. We love squares. 11 times 11 is 122 yards squared. And then finally, a trapezoid. Reminder, this is going to be the height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. It does not matter which one you make base 1 or base 2, but let's just say this is base 1, this is base 2, this h is our height, okay? We're not doing anything with the 11 because it's not a base or a height. So we're going to have our height of 8 times base 1 is 6, base 2 is 21, and then we're dividing that by 2. So 6 plus 21 is 27. So we've got 8 times 27 divided by 2. We can multiply 8 times 27 to get to 16. Divided by 2, and that gets us 108. And then I believe these are inches squared. All right, I will have you do key concepts on your own, but let's check out some of these problems here. This is a parallelogram, so base times height. This is going to be 54. Base times height. Another parallelogram, base times height. So 3 times 10 and a half, which is the same as 10.5. If you're typing that into your calculator, this is 31.5. Parallelogram, we're doing base times height again. So 3.4 times 2.5. That is 8.5. Trapezoid here, this is going to be the height of 7. This is the height, base 1, base 2. So 7 times 10 plus 16 divided by 2. So 7 times 26 divided by 2. 7 times 26 is 182. And then we can divide that by 2 to get 91. Another trapezoid, we've got the height, base 1, base 2. So 5.8 times 9 plus 18.5 divided by 2. 9 plus 18.5 is 27.5, and let's multiply that by 5.8 to get 159.5 divided by 2. And that is 79.75. And then one more trapezoid here. We've got a height of 4, base 1, base 2. So 4 times 11 plus 13 divided by 2. This is going to get us 48. Okay, moving on to our medium. Again, we need to make sure our base and our height are perpendicular. So our base is 4, our height is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. Here our base is 3.4, our height is 2.5. I think we did this problem already in the medium, or in the mild, but 8.5. All right, this one, with this parallelogram, we need to make sure that our base and our height are perpendicular. So that is going to be this line and this line here. So 8.2 times 7.5, that is 61.5. Another trapezoid, here's our first base, here's our second base, and our height. So 4 times 6 plus 8 divided by 2, that is going to get us 28. Another trapezoid here, base 1, base 2, height. So 15 times 11 plus 19 divided by 2 is our formula. And that gets us 225. And last trapezoid here, here's our height, base 1, base 2. Again, it doesn't matter which base you make, base 1 or base 2. 6.9 times 22.7 plus 5.3. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one is which because you're just adding them together. Okay, times 6.9. Dividing by 2, we're going to get 96.6. All right, and then on to the spicy. We've already done this problem over here, so that's going to be 8.5. All right, here, base times height, but they're fractions. No wonder it's spicy. However, multiplying fractions is super easy. You simply multiply the top numbers and multiply the bottom numbers. So 2 times 5 is 10, 5 times 8 is 40. We can simplify that to 1 over 4 is our area. All right, and then let's see. Base times height. Okay, I see. Not super obvious, but this 16 is perpendicular with the base of 12. So 12 times 16 is going to get us 192. Another trapezoid. I think we've already done this one. Oh, I guess we haven't. Oh, yes, we did. We did it up here. 13, 4, and 11. Oh, no, that's different. It is different. All right, so height, base 1, base 2. So 5.4 times 5.8 plus 13.8 divided by 2. We can just pop this into our calculator. Just make sure to do this part first, the parentheses. That gets us 39.2. And then 2 more. Here's the height, base 1, base 2. So 3.8 times 6.8 plus 3 divided by 2. This is going to be 18.62. And then finally, finally a spicy one here. This first base down here is 14 plus x, because this chunk is 14, this chunk is x, so we have to add them together. So that's base 1. Base 2 is 8, so we're going to add all those together. And our height is 5 divided by 2. So 14 plus 8, we can combine those, but we can't combine the x with that. So inside the parentheses, we're going to have 22 plus x, that's 14 plus 8 combined. Okay. Then we can distribute this 5 to both, so that we're going to have 110 plus 5x divided by 2. Okay. We could divide both of these by 2 if you wanted to separate these out. So we could do 110 divided by 2 is 55, and then 5 over 2x. You could write these either way. These are the same thing, just different ways of writing them. So that is our answer, 55 plus 5 over 2x for our area.